Welcome, Robert. How are you?
Hello, everyone. I'm well, thank you.
Did you
Do you?
have a good summer? Yeah, we can hear you perfectly. Did you have a good summer?
Yeah, I'm actually in vacation going towards Barcelona to Villa Macolum, but I will arrive there only on Sunday. Yeah, Sunday.
Okay.
Oh, so Robert, I'm very interested. What is a day in Robert Sasu's vacation? Like, what do you do to resource?
He skis.
Uh,
He skis in the French mountains.
no. I'm not in the mountains. I'm in France actually, but I am in south right now in a small village. Like we get up, kids get up early on, then go to eat, go to the beach. When kids sleep in the middle of the day, then I read something on Twitter, then kids and play for the afternoon. Late at night, I go to a run, and after that, I stay a little bit more on research. And the next day comes. We right now we stay only 2 days in one place, so every second or third day we go for a 3 hour drive around for the next town. So it's a pretty active one.
Yeah. Being a MultiversX core developer and on
Just to
holidays with
precise that
your
it's
dad.
raining also, huh?
Okay. Guys, let's start the weighted interview, Robert. And I prepared a few questions, a few topics to speak with you. Like there will be a retrospective of MultiversX news, announcements, and progress. And of course, we'll speak about the vision for the next month. And first of all, but don't find any order in the topics. I just made a list, and we'll speak about all of them. First of all, you added MetaMask Snap integration. Can you explain what is it and what are the goals of this new features that I read was built by builders from the ecosystem?
The idea is that there are a bunch of users using MetaMask, and MetaMask could be used mostly for EVM chains for a long period of time. Then the MetaMask team opened up the new development of Snaps, the Snaps SDK, and then every foundation could start it to integrate Snaps into their own ecosystem, and then make a pull request towards MetaMask for them to introduce the new chain into the front end. And with this, you can actually use MetaMask on MultiversX as well. I think there are right now a bunch of other chains which enabled such features. So for those users who are, let's say, in the crypto space for a long period of time, and they only knew MetaMask because MetaMask was the thing, the first big wallet since, I don't know, 2016. Then, and they are got used to this. Now they have a familiar face to do also on MultiversX and on other chains as well. And I think that one of the fun thing about is that you can have those dApps integrated as well, which makes them easier to be found or to be accessed by users.
Joaquim?
Yeah, it is indeed a great step towards the adoption of already existing Web3 users on other chains. And as we said, I think everyone who's been in Web3 for a few years has one or several MetaMasks. My question was so the announcement of the MetaMask Snap was well pushed by MultiversX, showing that now we can benefit of the security of MultiversX directly through MetaMask. But I see it's active on the testnet, but I don't see the connection to the Snap active on the main wallet, so the web wallet on the mainnet. Do we know if that is supposed to be live, so we actually can start accessing and sending transactions, etc., with the Snap, or if this is a coming feature?
It has to go through the last audit, because every change you do, it has to go through the audits, and then it gets activated on the mainnet. On the testnet, you can play without the final audits and the final pushes happening. It's somewhat same as Ledger. With the Ledger, we do the same. You do a GitHub fork, and then you start to build, and then you have to push to the GitHub team, to the Ledger team, who has to make the final approvals and the final audit checks, before it gets activated in a new release tag on everywhere. I don't know how many of you have used MetaMask, let's say, heavily. I am not one of those guys. I actually did, I think, 4 or 5 transactions at maximum on Ethereum. So, but that's only me.
Okay.
I've used MetaMask for years. Poor old me. Yeah, I mean, wow.
Yeah, each time I open Gastos, what the fuck, whatever it's called, I cry a little bit. But yes.
Okay. And the same logical, you integrated multiple ERC20 tokens on xPortal, and I think it's an interesting topic, because does this strategy compete with promoting MultiversX and ESDTs like EGLD? And the question is, xPortal is not just the MultiversX blockchain wallet, but it's more like a general wallet. So what's your take, Robert, and of course, guys, about the impact of the promotion of MultiversX blockchain and the ESDT standard? Robert first.
I think that you made a clear point in this, that xPortal is the idea of xPortal was always to go further than being only a MultiversX wallet. It was supposed to be like the best wallet which users can interact with, and through that they could see a different world, which is MultiversX, with all the inbound features of it. So and in a lot of sense, there are new movements around it, for as that team got more independent. And then right now you have MultiversX as the blockchain and the foundation, and the xPortal as a product. So xPortal as a product, if he wants to grow, he needs to have more and more users who are actually using that product. And how you get more and more users? By making for users easier and safer to check what's on crypto. So in this regards, xPortal is evolving into this one. The same with xMoney. It's not only about MultiversX product. It's a complete separate product which grows, and in an indirect way, it brings users and developers to the MultiversX chain as well. So right now you will have, let's say, a wallet, which is great. It can be used in multiple chains, and now applications and app developers do not have to focus on, okay, in which chain or where do I deploy my contracts? No, I deploy my contracts where it is the easiest to develop. It runs. It is inexpensive to have an infrastructure for it. And if I get integrated in xPortal, I have millions of users. So that's another way to take it. And then I think this should be like, this could have been, let's say, a general strategy for blockchain development, but there is just too much fight left and right about infrastructure, and that is actually killing it. And we see from the users and from the developers as well, as a lot of people are going out from the blockchain ecosystem. We are at almost all-time low usage on Ethereum, Solana, and a bunch of other chains as well. So this means that people got fed off because it's only there were some great crazies about points and memes and stuff like that, which was a lot of manipulation in some sense. But after that, the users did not remain with anything. We have the old DeFi apps, a few games, a few cool NFTs and communities, and that's it. But we had the same thing 3 years ago. I'm speaking about the broader crypto ecosystem. So,
Same for
xPortal,
MultiversX.
yeah, yeah. What can I say? Yeah, that's true. So it's like for MultiversX, we actually the first DeFi happened at end of 2021. So and after that, actually the new DeFi products got implemented after we started. The bull run was not was over, so it was the start of the bear market. And then, but we see bunch of new applications every few months, like Soxno and Tada and CyberNetwork, Hatom with all the new things, with the stable coins,
We will,
the xExchange V3.
we'll dive in.
Yeah.
We'll dive in,
But
of course.
but the
Let's,
idea is about like xPortal. That's, I think this is the important, that you have a wallet in which people can actually use Web3 easily and safely.
The next challenge will be to onboard xPortal users on MultiversX. So what's your strategy in this respect?
Nicer and fancier apps directly on MultiversX. That's the easy answer on it. Where I don't have to think about, like, it was great. Arno had explained about liquid staking and all the strategies and yield Hatom can have. But for me to explain this to my mom is pretty complicated. So you need
Please,
to make
Arno,
it easier.
explain Robert's mother, please.
No, yeah, come on. Even he knows what I'm saying. So you can make it you can make it even easier. I think that one of the next cool things which could happen are automatized investment strategies or stuff like that for those who actually want to put $100 or $200 per month in a Web3 ecosystem and to have an optimal or a little bit suboptimal yield, but to have a yield. And that's what they want. So you couldn't do this like 2 years ago on MultiversX because there was no Hatom, there were no perpetuals, there were no stable swaps. Right now, the ecosystem started to move, and then we had, when you start to have these like basic DeFi components, now you can build on top to make it more user-friendly. And these are some of the things which other chains can't really do it. They might have some ideas, but building this kind of stuff and not getting into reentrancy issues, into problems with storages, into problems with, okay, how do I interpret this and that returns and values from the other base building block of the DeFi, it's actually much harder to do it on EVM or Solana VM. And I think this is one of the killer features, like composability, easy composability, which could help out on this kind of new, let's say, more user-friendly or people-friendly DeFi.
Arno, you wanted
Yeah,
to add something?
just very quickly, two things. The first one is about your initial question to Robert with xPortal. I can, since I started working with for Hatum, we had some discussions with the biggest players in the MultiversX ecosystem. xPortal is one of them, and discovering this from the inside, it was very interesting because I can say that they are operating as not 100% autonomous, because I believe that they do have syncs with the rest of the MultiversX companies, but they are a business unit. And I'm using the word business unit for a reason. It's like a mini company within the company. And so it's very interesting to see them, focus on how can they be strong, a strong standalone business unit with a product that brings value to its users, that generates value for the company, for its users, etc., etc. Because then, as Robert said, it's strong as a standalone product, so it can help and become also a growth accelerator for the MultiversX ecosystem. And the second thing is just doubling down on what Robert said. I've been a big DeFi user and believer because I believe this is one of the craziest promise that the blockchain can allow people to do. It's still complicated because DeFi is still really young. So yes, of course, when you go on DeFi protocols, it's hard. There's a lot of numbers everywhere. You understand that there's, it's not super easy for the average blockchain user. But I believe that with the right infrastructure, we can build crazy cool products that make all this simple and safe. And Robert said could, I say will.
Okay, Robert, are you thinking of finally releasing a light version of xPortal, which, in my opinion, and not only, is too complex for newcomers, especially when compared to a wallet like Phantom, which is ultra minimalist and easy to use and navigate?
Actually, as xPortal is another business unit, I'm only on the big things, so I don't know what's the actual plan or when is the actual plan for the light xPortal. Some kind of light web wallet was already launched for the sovereign chains, where people can customize them as they want and an SDK for it. The same thing will happen for Bridge as well, in an order in which it will be SDK'd, so people or projects can integrate it with a few lines of code into their app directly to make it even more simpler for users to bridge liquidity and do everything on a single page, because that's what they like. And getting back a little bit about, like, let's say, making a parallel, like we integrate MetaMask Snap in order for MetaMask users to come to the MultiversX ecosystem. In a sense, that I think that the same thing has to be done for the DeFi. So, like, people are used to mobile investment apps like Revolut or in the banking app as you do those investments. When somebody creates an UX like that, then those people who got used to the banking one can come to DeFi as well. This is just anybody can start it. This just came up as an idea. So it's a fun thing when the ideas come up when we talk.
Okay, so let's receive on another show the xPortal lead to discuss about this. Let's speak about the next xLaunchpad. So first of all, can you maybe explain why you xLaunchpad and I think the core team decided to choose CyberNetwork, and after we'll have a chat about the decision to enlight a project from an established MultiversX team through xLaunchpad. But first of all, why CyberNetwork, and what do you think?
So one thing I think first the xLaunchpad it got its own business unit as well. So recently, and then they will make their own decisions a little bit more freely, not little bit, more freely, and it will mean that more launchpad. No, like really free, and then more launchpads can come. There are a bunch of ideas. There are a bunch of talks with a lot of projects. Some of them I am involved in. To help them with reviews or stuff like that on their technical decisions. The idea about CyberNetwork was pretty straightforward. A gaming chain needs a little bit other kind of economics. So they need special economics where those who run the game engines should be able to push transactions or state transitions for free. And then that's something which can be a high enabler for new types of games which can actually use the blockchain properties without all the jargons and without all the technical problems. And then CyberNetwork came with a long proposals. I think since 1 year ago, they started to go into this direction. They built a few SDKs to help game developers as well, to onboard them and to make game developers, onboard or use blockchain features natively, without any hassle. And then to do the same for users, to have SDKs and template apps for this. So that's the basic idea. They went into a new economic model for gaming, and then any game needs high performance chain, and a high performance chain right now with a super cheap infrastructure is the sovereign chain SDK.
Okay,
so
and
that's
what do you
there. And from there was they applied for xLaunchpad, and then on xLaunchpad, we don't not only look to who is applying, but how far he is ahead with the development. So they have some demos there, some working product, and then they don't need like 2 more years before launching.
Okay, what do you think to those who were disappointed to learn that we would not have a new project with a new team on xLaunchpad, because the announcement was more startups? More
startups, that's true, but we are still having a harsh process of selecting those startups, and we eliminate a lot of those who are only talk and they don't do. Sadly, what we see, and most of the people who are only following on Twitter, they think that some of these ecosystems are so great and they do so bunch of stuff. The idea is that there are a couple of outsourcing companies for which you can pay a lot of money and they will do the products for you, and then you as the foundation can launch it. It's your decision to do this, and some of the new chains or new L2s are doing this. They take hundreds of millions or 100 million in funding, and then they will go out to these outsourcing companies who've built a few DeFi products, NFT marketplace products and stuff like that. They will pay them well, and then those outsourcing companies will do the job, and the foundation will launch those products with different names. And then in the Twitter narrative, it seems like everybody is, wow, they are growing and they do a bunch of stuff, but they are not, those are not real like startups. That's one of the sad reality in the Web3 space. And another sad reality is that when you have a bunch of money or a bunch of funding, you can go and bribe any project to come to you with higher money. Even if you have worse technologies. So, we are, let's say, with European thinking and especially Eastern European thinking, when you know that, okay, to develop this project, you would need 4 developers and 3 months, you will not pay 5 million euros you will not pay like a couple of millions dollars for this. Because you know that, come on, this can be done with 100,000 or 200K at most. And it's not about, let's say, about paying, but what is the value that project brings in and how worse they are in the ecosystem. So when you see, let's say, a company come and say, okay, I want to do a startup on you, and you look at their portfolio and they have 7 projects running on 7 different chains, you know that they will put only 5% or 10% effort maximum to run the business on your chain. So it's not about only launching the project, it's about really pushing the focus on that product, on that chain, or on that product. If I have 7 products, I will not be able to push 100% on all 7, especially when they are different ecosystems and different chains and different everything. So,
Thank you.
Something like that. And, just one more thing, the MultiversX builders have always been sometimes a little bit, let's say, extra special in terms of what they wanted to develop. They always wanted to add one more flavor, one more feature, easier user interface, safer for users, and all bunch of stuff.
Okay,
So
Robert,
when you have to compare,
Robert,
chose a better builder.
Robert, sorry, we have so many different topics, so we will, except if you have 3 hours ahead, we will try to make shorter answers. But thank you.
I will take the time from Lucas.
Okay. Okay.
I think he is in the pool anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Okay, it's okay for me. We have time. Arno wanted to say something.
Yeah, not going to talk especially about CyberNetwork, but about the xLaunchpad strategy.
Yeah, that's the point. Definitely.
Yeah, what's better between a new builder and a builder who's going to be there for sure in 2 years? A project that is going to be there for sure in 2 years. And when you think about this perspective, this is the only perspective an investor is looking for, is resilient builders who have a vision, who have proven track record of resiliency, because, I mean, entrepreneurship is super hard. So, and especially in crypto industry, it's ups and downs, in a more accelerated way than the regular, journey of an entrepreneur. So that's the first thing. So you're looking for this special type of builders. And the second thing is, when you have homegrown talents, you want to make sure that those people who have been building there without funding, prior regular money raise, you want also to make sure that those people who chose you because of their decision making and have proven themselves, they stick around. And so this is why I believe that having first Xoxno and now CyberNetwork in the xLaunchpad, making sure that those people have now more means to stick around and keep building after they have proven so much. It's also great recognition, and it's a great signal. I agree that we need to attract people from out there, but doing a football metaphor, I'm a big football fan. When you have a strong academy and you have some great talents that come from your academy, when you bring in a player from outside that is taking the spot of a great talent of your academy, at some point the talent is going to look to grow somewhere else if he has this opportunity. So xLaunchpad is in between of those things. You have some builders already building. They have proven track record, resilient, building through the bear market, actual products, actual users, and there's on the other side attracting external builders. So this is a dilemma that xLaunchpad has to face.
Yeah, and I spoke with and to give some information to the community, I had some chat with Astaris and like team.
Istari, entity.
Yeah, I will speak about Astaris and because they're working with xLaunchpad, and we chat about the new xLaunchpad, the strategy, and I think it's important for the community to understand, and in my opinion, it should have been announced before the CyberNetwork announcement, that xLaunchpad will not just be a launcher, but also an accelerator for existing project and an incubator for them. So that's pretty much a new strategy for xLaunchpad, which in my opinion is very interesting. And as the reason will also work as an acceleration to provide the help, the network, the VCs, and everything that a builder needs to launch and to accelerate their project. So this new strategy for xLaunchpad is, in my opinion, very good. The thing is, in the community's point of view, xLaunchpad was there to launch new project, new team, new startups, and I think that's the point of the disappointment. And but when you know this, I think you see the things differently, in my opinion.
Thanks for pointing those out, and that's actually what Arno said. That's one of the key things that you want, those builders who are resilient and who has a conviction. Sorry, but when I got an email that I want to do a launchpad on xLaunchpad and I can build anything you want, there is like no conviction. And you look at the track record and that company have built on 7 chains. I don't know how much, whether they will stick to this chain or not. Or in 1 year, they will go to the next launchpad, next chain. So that's a really hard decision to make. But I prefer to see conviction of builders.
About this, a few months ago, I think it was at the beginning of the year, you announced here on GM Web3 that you will launch a grant program through MultiversX Foundation. In the meantime, you launched the Sovereign Chain grant program, but not the grant for all. Because maybe some projects don't need to launch a sovereign chain. So can you tell us about this general grant program as we can find on every other foundation? I mean, I'm working with many projects from different chains, and first thing, they built a project, the documentation, the value proposition, the team, the business model, the roadmap, and so on. And after, they will look for a grant from foundation, and it will be decisive in their choice of which blockchain they will launch. Of course, there will be some technical criteria to choose a chain, of course, an ecosystem, and many other criteria. But the thing, the grant application is one of the criteria to choose a blockchain or another, and we can find it on Polygon and Solana, on all all the different blockchains. So what's the position of a MultiversX Foundation about this to attract new projects on the blockchain?
I think this was not 100% clear from our side. The grant program was always in, but it was depending on you show conviction and you show that I want to build this, really not because there is a grant for it. So it's like, a little bit different mindset in this regard. And
is
yes,
this effective?
Sometimes yes, because you get all those resilient builders who are still with you after 2 years. And
but you don't have much builders, and on the website there is no grant application part, which is searched by many serious builders, and applying for a grant is not a bad thing. I did it with GM Web3 with xExchange, by the way. So
yeah. I get it that we made a mistake on this, and we are still making a little bit until we have the page up for the grants. We wanted to do some crazy stuff with the grants a few times and never got time for it, to make it like crowdfunding and stuff like that, to get the community involved. But things have always been up to, we had to build a lot of stuff. It still might happen, but like having a page where people can apply for grants, that is a must. I think that those people who are really resilient, they will still find one BD guy or one core team developer from whom they can start to talk, and then they will be able to apply for grants and see what's up there. A little bit of inside information. I think we are preparing for a list of what we think could be built on top of MultiversX as of right now, and then people can apply for those as well.
Oh, that's interesting.
It depends on, but that's not a, let's say, exclusive list. So you will be still able to apply for anything you want.
We can call it selective immigration. You choose people to come, but that's interesting.
I see more this as a startup studio.
It was a joke, but yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that's a good joke.
Joaquim, you had something to add on top of this?
Yeah, I think it's very interesting what you presented about the showing resilience. But one of the parts that GRM was mentioning, and I think that is where, there should be more effort, is new builders. And we're not talking about builders who have already been on 7 chains, as you were saying, but maybe Web2 companies or new startups. They won't think about reaching out to all the BDs of the different chains, etc. They will just look on a few websites or the few foundations of technology they are interested in. And I think that will be decisive for them. And I feel like we might lose quite a lot of talent by the fact that we're not showcasing grants and incentives to come build on MultiversX.
That's a good point. I will take it up to accelerate this. And then what we did, in fact, it's about having more hackathons and more hackathons directly with universities. So to get those talents early on, when they are still, let's say, young blood, and then from there, multiple new people can come. That was the same strategy with X-Rise internships as well, where we had on the selection, we had over 100 CVs, and then we had to select only 15, which was a pretty hard process to do. But those people are starting to get interested in Web3, and they will start to look for opportunities to work on blockchain ecosystem. So yeah, we have to keep them. And one fact about like this acceleration program for the xLaunchpad is that sometimes, especially in Eastern Europe, but I think in Western Europe as well, people are good builders, but they are not so good sellers in some sense like US does. So this kind of business and marketing and organizational stuff to learn, it's needed, because especially in our country, in Romania, that's completely missing from engineering school. So you learn how to code, you learn how to write an app, but you never learn how to sell it or
And
what
that's
you
why,
need to do to sell it. So that's why the incubation acceleration program, or whatever, how you can call it.
definitely it's a really, really needed. And that's why builders, needs, grant and acceleration to hire good, business developers and marketing staffs and so on. Philippe,
The,
quickly.
Yeah, quickly. Thanks, Sasu, for everything. Just a question, because regarding also something that could be interesting maybe, but I don't know the extent and the facility that we can do that. But for example, you have the roadmap on MultiversX with all the different implementation that you want to do, the sub-second resolution and all the different elements. But that could be interesting, like to put on the roadmap some element that can be picked by builders and companies to start to create a product that will fill like a gap in the ecosystem. Because right now, I mean, like we see the roadmap is nice. I mean, there's a lot of things and it's great. But I think there's a lot of companies that, for example, the dynamic NFTs and a lot of different functionalities that are required by projects. And I think if we open maybe this roadmap with grant or no grant or whatsoever, but like the capacity to builder to jump easily on a task and support the team, that could maybe bring like some builder to look at the ecosystem, look at the code. If there is grant that will bring for people from other chain, young developers, and that could be also a way. So that means full project, definitely, discussing with BD and everything. But you have also like the aspect of people that want to build and make the ecosystem better. And that could be a way to bring another kind of builders that don't really want to make maybe a product, but that want to make the ecosystem better for build better products.
if I may, GRM,
Sure.
because this exactly comes back to what Robert said. We have the tendency to say we need builders, but it's the exact same thing in Web 2. You know, when you build a company, it's very rarely just an engineer who comes and has the idea A to Z, is capable of coding, strategizing, marketing, selling. This doesn't exist. You know, the very rare people are so complete. So you're not, when you say builders, you're actually looking for teams, small teams maybe, but who are well rounded up, with the ability to build a new business, a new solution from scratch, and with all the components. And to Philippe's point, which I think could be a very good idea to deep dive. You have some developers, they don't want to create a new business. I mean, it's so hard to create a new company, but maybe they have, they're talented and they would like a direction and some money. So you go to the Foundation One website. It's maybe not core components, but satellites of core components, satellite features, and those builders are vetted. So the foundation knows that they are very good at what they do, and they know, okay, you can build this component, you get a 5K grant. You build this, you take part in this project, and etc. etc. And that's an interesting idea.
Yeah, but it's the chicken and the egg. We need entrepreneurs and they need developers. So we need to attract both because it can't work without one of them. And same for marketing and biz dev and so on.
Yeah, but it's also, I mean, the thing is like builders also have a hard time to get visible. I mean, like say Arno, I mean, it's when you have a builder, it's usually a guy that stays in his cave. I mean, if I'm maybe an exaggeration, but it's more or less the case. And if you put them like pushing on the GitHub, getting visibility, getting the view of real BD that want to build a product and see that this guy is building and know his stuff. At the end, you just give a little step to the different builders that want to build, that want to learn really. I mean, it's the point of XRise and all these things that go in the right direction. And on top of that, the BG that look for developer, they can just look on the GitHub and the contributor, and they can find people available to build the product for that. And after you have an ecosystem where builder can easily find BD by being visible somewhere, and BD can find builder on this platform. That was more or less the concept of MultiversX builders, if I'm not wrong, but it didn't take off so much.
Okay. We had a question yesterday about the departure of Stefan. I will just say Stefan because I don't want
Stefan
to.
Sackle.
Sackle. Okay. So his departure and the future of xFabric. So maybe Robert, you can say a word about this.
I can't say much about his departure. xFabric was heavily developed, and then we have a new version. It's still in internal demos, so I don't know yet when it's going to be launched with the new version. But
is it still a priority for you guys? Or you decided to step back a little because it was not a top priority, just to be clear for the community, because many builders are waiting for this stuff, but there was no news about this for months now.
It's not top priority anymore. But we are going to launch as we have developed quite a big part of it. So launching it will come. But we have switched a little bit the priorities of what we are building, and then that's the most thing I can say.
Arno?
Yeah, regarding Stefan Sackle and xFabric, I find it very healthy what's happening, because yes, it's tough decisions. But when you create a business, tough decisions have to be made. Stefan, if he's not there anymore, Stefan joined at the same time as Sergio, relatively. Robert can correct me, but if I remember, it was a few months apart. And
same time, roughly same time.
Yeah, they entered in leadership roles, one on xPortal, one on xFabric. And, that's the regular life of businesses. And sometimes you shift priorities. Sometimes a person maybe is a great person, very skilled, but it doesn't work that well. What's worrying is when you don't take action. So, I think it's very healthy that, you see people coming, you see people going, you see projects being prioritized, some deprioritized. It's the part of a day-to-day business, and I think it's very healthy. Yes, we would like everything to work out, but not everything can work out. So sometimes you think about a potential solution being built and making an impact. You have key performance indicators. You see that it doesn't work through. Maybe you cut it off, maybe you deprioritize it, etc., etc. It's the life of a company. So I think it's hard decisions, but it's good decisions to be made.
And in some sense, if we look at through right now with Cloud or Copilot, xFabric, it's hard to find a place for it. When you can generate your front-end microservice, smart contract, whatever, pretty easily, then just another platform to do it in the same way or with even fewer options. It's not gonna cut it, something like that. Something like that.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's true, I didn't think about this, but when xFabric was launched and talked about at first, we didn't have the the first great user-facing AI products that we have today. And so, of course, today you can already have them code crazy stuff. I mean, in a few years, they will be plugged and be capable of building on blockchain too. So, of course, this shifts everything for you.
Okay, thank you for this. Let's speak about xExchange v3. Can you tell us about the new features and what impact do you think it will have for this product?
So xExchange v3 started as a super easy, let's make something, and it will take 2 months to launch, into a massive headache in some sense, where we had to rebuild and rethink a lot of things. But finally it's getting through, and we finally made, let's say, a new architectures on top of which two things can happen. And I hope both of these will happen. One is for the users. Users will have such an easy time to use xExchange. Almost every action will be just one transaction. And I think that's great for any newcomer. And then you will be able to do whatever you want, super simply, super easily, a completely revamped front end, but which needed a tons of features and rewrites at the smart contract level. And the other thing is that we have simplified much more how the energy system, how the farm systems and boosted rewards work. And then other people can build much easier on top of it new products. Because xExchange, in some sense, it could become like a, let's say, global liquidity provider in which, on top of which other projects are building and building, using how DeFi should be used, or let's say using those all kinds of composability features. This is only 3.0, which have gone through all the audits, all the tests, all the battle of yields and everything. So the launch date internally was set, and we have to execute that. And we are already planning for the next few iterations on which we have been working on. So the development of that is not stopping. There will be a bunch of new DeFi stuff coming up, and actually xExchange is going as a separate business unit as well. It have been gone since 6 to 8 months into a completely different business unit and management style and work, and it will expand on that. All kind of business decisions, liquidity decisions, grant programs and everything will be handled by xExchange separately, making its own company, its own statements, its own everything, completely separated from the foundation. And I think that's great because it gives more freedom, more space to move, and even more fun things to do. Why not?
Okay, sounds good. And for the moment, it's in a beta version, correct?
It's on the testnet version, or
testnet. Mm-hmm.
testnet devnet version, and the internal date was set, but I cannot say anything about it.
Okay, it will be.
It's I don't want to leak anything.
A matter of weeks, of months.
No, matter of days to weeks. And okay. It's about another Lucas would will have to talk about this.
Yeah, but he doesn't have time to come
GRM,
here. Yeah,
GRM. Mm-hmm. Think about what's coming in a few weeks. You know, in Korea.
Hush.
Where do you want to announce the biggest update of one of your biggest products?
I got it. Thank you, Arno, for this link. But we don't have a date so far. But okay. Days or week. Thank you, guys. Now let's speak about Spica, the last proposal on the DAO. Can you tell us what is it about, the on-chain passkeys, and what's the goal and the implication for such new feature on the protocol?
So Spica release is most for the developers, with a bunch of new pre-compiles and opcodes at the VM level to make even more easier to write complex complex smart contracts which use complex cryptography. And also the passkeys. The passkeys is another curve, cryptographic curve, which is used by Android and iOS as well. When you, let's say, you use your card to pay with your Apple Pay or Google card, it's a passkey signature. Those passkeys, which are stored in your phone, I think in case of Samsung, it is stored in a secure enclave. Maybe in case of iOS as well. I did not get delved into the hardware of iOS yet. But it implies that users will be able to use directly their phones without the need of storing any seed phrase, writing it down, or stuff like that to interact with Web3. It will also mean, and we have already started to create an account abstraction smart contract where users can actually interact with anything on chain directly from their phone, again, without the need to store any kind of passkeys. So installing a new app, for example, a gaming app, which is going to be directly connected to the blockchain, will feel exactly the same as any Web2 user interface or any Web2 app. So just eliminating one more hurdle in front of the users and making it easier for them. That's the goal for it. And then Spica will bring another big feature, the dynamic ESDTs, NFTs, SFTs, meta SDTs, which from only two things right now which came to my mind, which going to be enabled, or let's say 3 or 4 upgradable gaming items, better ticketing systems, where you can upgrade the ticket of the user without the user needing to send a ticket to you. Like when you do a check-in into a hotel or into an event, then you can set that ticket directly to, checked in or stuff like that. Or let's say a third one is to have even your borrowed positions or your collateral and everything in a lending protocol can be tokenized. So it can have a bunch of data which can be constantly upgraded by the smart contract without the user needing to transfer it back and forth. So, and then I think on top of even lending protocols, you can build even more.
Okay, and will there be any more proposals involving the community and not just developers in the near future? Maybe on a marketing strategy, sales, or different other topics, maybe more community-centric stuff?
I am a developer, so I have no idea about this. Maybe xAlliance through xAlliance, you could make a few proposals, or completely separately as well and see what's happening. Why not? The governance model, we have to enable the front end for it, for anybody to make a proposal. Maybe that would be an idea. So, but right now, if the community wants something, a few people can gather around, create a new, let's say, PowerPoint, presentations, everything, and then start discussing with the foundation, and things can move pretty fast from that onwards. We are pretty open for all these kinds of things.
Okay, thank you very much. So let's speak about the world. Big topic. So you've toured the world over the past month on different conferences, in Turkey, in the United States, I think in Germany and in many other countries in 2024. And you decided to, launch, xDay 2024 in Seoul in, South Korea. So what, is the strategy behind this, and what did you accomplish through these different travels all around the world for MultiversX?
Traveling and being in event, it's a must, because if you are not in the event, then people assume that you do not exist anymore. So I recommend all the projects to go to some events as well and make their presence there, make a small side event or stuff like that around the big one. Because that's how you show yourself to the Web3 people that you exist. Otherwise, there is so much noise on Twitter that you are easily forgotten or easily, I don't know, not even seen on the Twitter feed, something like that. And then that's a must to go. We had a couple of hackathons from where projects are still building. We had a couple of new partnerships done there. And then a lot of discussions around new projects, what can be built, what should be built. And actually our presence in some of the events made impact of how the Web3 ecosystem is looking towards MultiversX as a project. And one thing is that everybody is, let's say, agrees that our technology is good, which is good, finally, after a few years of fighting. And on regards on Seoul, I think that it's a really cool place right now for technology. If you look at how many people are using AI or blockchain or the upcoming new technologies, and how many developers are trying to learn and to see what's happening there, it's quite staggering in percentages compared to other nations. They are heavily invested in tech. They have, let's say, a rather different view on the world than Europe or US. They are not so much into legacy technologies. They are always want to do something new, something more performant, something better, I would say. But in order to be successful in Korea, you need to be present in Korea. We have been there a couple of times already. We have a community there. A community of builders is building up. And for example, Astarizon is there for this week, for the Korea Blockchain Week. It's a rather little bit complicated process, but it's a good country to be in and to have new builders.
Okay, and so maybe you can share with us some progress in terms of awareness, networking, partnerships. I don't know, so we can maybe figure out what happened during 2024 attending these global events.
We made partnerships with these hackathon schools or hackathon companies within Code, and I think one more, and we had several events with them. And now people through Encode can come to MultiversX as well. They have the entry to our system, and then we co-organize a few events with them. And this will happen further down the line as well. This is for the developers. Then we have a bunch of partnerships with universities, and then with the universities we will make more hackathons, and we are going to have more blockchain related curriculum and courses with them, so new people can come and learn and do stuff on the blockchain. And in the US especially, or the big events like Proof of Talk or Dubai, we have made discussions and ongoing works for better integrations between different big chains, like the one with Injective, and then we started to talk with the Polkadot Foundation, figuring out things which we could work together on. The same with Near Foundation, and we will see which sorts of things will happen. And such is one thing, like the Collabathon also came. It came from Helios taking, but you see, when it's about like creating collaborations between ecosystems, I think it will be a lot beneficial for both ecosystems, and it will be a lot. It can bring much more value to the whole blockchain space if the users feel good.
Okay, Joaquim.
Yeah, sorry, it was to do with xDays in Seoul, and we kind of moved away from it, so it's not a big deal.
No, actually, we can focus on xDay 2024 because we have some chatting with community members, some builders also, that are afraid that this event that was in Paris for the first edition, in Bucharest for the second edition, and it was the best community moment, the best, really the best thing on MultiversX ecosystem in a community point of view, and we would like to understand this change of area. So, there will be less people from the community because it's far, it's expensive. So this new strategy to launch this event so far from Europe, what's the implication of this? Aren't you afraid that it will not gather enough builders and community members because of the cost?
xDay was always about going to a new city and a new location and a new area of the world for every year. So it was supposed to start in Europe, and then Bucharest was a pretty good decision that you have to come home, because that's where it started. We started actually in Paris. xDay Paris was the first one, and then Bucharest was the homecoming, and then it was always okay. Let's find places and communities around the world where we can get into, and then they are, interested in what we do, and they might join the community, and they might join the community or the building. And even xLaunchpad was about creating local heroes local heroes means that those companies have to be, let's say, if they are successful inside their own region, then they can become successful globally as well. You know, the global is much harder, but locally you can little bit move around a little bit better because you are the local one. So that was let's say another important thing. So xDay is supposed to go to a new region every year. And then Korea was in the talks from the first event onwards, but we wanted to do the first two in Europe. It's also about like growing the ecosystem, growing the number of people, growing the ideas, growing the perspective. Blockchain is a global thing, and it can only be global if you are everywhere.
Joaquim? Oh, sorry.
Yeah. So I understand what you're describing, and I feel like the view the community and even certain of us builders have of xDays and what it is about and what the core team or foundation sees it is a bit different. But we could already see that kind of from the start. If we take the first edition, which was in Paris, which was accessible for most countries in Europe, but had quite I won't say hefty because for a conference it was quite normal, but I think the ticket was around 600 euros. And then the year after, you say your home country, Romania, the tickets were at 99. It was seen as something that was accessible to nearly everyone. I mean, the capacity of the venue was also several times bigger. And xDays
and it was several times cheaper as well.
Yes, I bet. But I feel like the second edition of xDay was the one that felt the most like a community event where all the projects and their community members could gather. We saw there was quite a lot of booths with projects, a lot of side events, etc. And it makes me wonder with the xDay in Seoul, which seems more like a corporate and a strategic event rather than a community gathering as we've experienced last year. Maybe it's something that is worth considering to organizing something a bit more community oriented, because for many of us, it's going to be a full year without a MultiversX event where we can meet each other.
All right, I think you can push a proposal for this. Why not?
I might already be working on it, but I won't say anything.
Why not? So I think that a fun community event, it might be in Europe. It could be fun, like really just to gather around and to speak to each other. xAlliance did a lot of small events in Europe, on different cities with different community members. And then I think that in Paris at Proof of Talk, we were a few people on that coffee place gathered together. And then I think it happened in other events as well, where we had these small side events where community could gather throughout Europe, not the whole community together, but these let's say more cozy ones.
If I can, try to give a different perspective on xDay. xDay should be considered as a growth strategy. And when you look at how MultiversX is organizing xDay events, I believe that this is how they think of it as well. It is a way to promote the technology, to demonstrate it, and to get eyes on the ecosystem, on its main solutions. And although I agree with Joaquim that it's always amazing to be at those events, because it is like the best of MultiversX. It's a great show all the time. But we should never lose the perspective on the fact that it is a growth strategy to promote the MultiversX ecosystem and the technology. And so when you go in new places each time, you get new eyes onto your technology. And if you prepare it ahead, you can invite people that would have never come to Europe from this specific region, because I have a few friends who live in Asia and the Australian region, and when I said, hey, I'm going to Seoul, instantly it becomes way easier for them to think about, oh, okay, I'm going to come for 2 days in Seoul so we can meet. So this is the same for businesses. MultiversX must have conversations with companies and people in Asia. And when you go there to organize something, to organize an event, to promote your technology, your ecosystem, then it becomes way more easier for them to get onboarded, because it's, hey, just hop on a flight. If you're in Japan, it's 2 hours, 2 hours and a half. Come and see. And then it becomes an acquisition and a growth strategy.
Yeah, but the truth is the community loves xDay more for the gathering than the announcements, especially when many of these announcements have no clear follow-up, and especially since the media impact of xDays outside of MultiversX ecosystem is generally quite low. So I think that's the main point for this.
Maybe that's not a priority, I mean, maybe that's not the focus.
Yeah, but when you organize such an event, you want to outreach, you want people outside of MultiversX knows about this event to attract, to get awareness and so forth. So it will be the challenge for xDay 2024 to track the impact in terms of visibility, as we can see on maybe some competitive event. So it's a big challenge because it's a lot of resources to organize such event. It's a lot of money, I think. I don't know how much, but it costs a lot to the foundation. And if it's just to announce things and the announce are just seen by the MultiversX community, it's not worthy, in my opinion. Joaquim and maybe Robert will want to answer this.
Yeah, I'll just go very quickly, but it's a very interesting topic because, as you say, I think there is two things. There is what you want something to be and what it becomes. As Arno was explaining so well, xDays has for purpose to increase awareness on MultiversX. Showing its potential is this standalone event that is separate from any blockchain conference, even though I do believe, but might be wrong, that when it comes to getting more brand awareness and being known by people outside of the ecosystem, external conferences are probably better. But it has become this gathering and has been seen by the community as a gathering. And my only point was that I think is not something that should be forgotten. And maybe it's a bit like, I'm going to take an example, but like the Apple keynote. You're not expecting Samsung users to go watch or assist to the Apple keynote. It's for the Apple users, the Apple enthusiasts to get excited about what is coming next. And obviously the media talks about it, etc. But it is talked about because there is this very fervent community that is looking forward to all of this. And I think one of the risks is to have a next day where you come with announcements that might not be as well received by the people actually there because they haven't been part of the ecosystem for as long.
Robert, you want to add anything about this?
I think xDay has a good enough, or from my perspective, it had a good reach out, even in marketing or even in writings. We had big announcements at xDay Paris and at xDay Bucharest, and bunch of those have become true with all the partnership with Google Cloud and the Deutsche Telekom and the others as well. Also, there is a lot of business development going behind the scenes in these events, a bunch of meetings where you can actually meet face-to-face people. That's like what Proof of Talk was about as well. Not what, let's say, or Dubai as well. Not what is written or speaked on the stage, but what's happening in the let's say in the VIP room or in the backstage or those places. And I do believe that going to a new region, showing out the technology and showing out the capabilities of the technologies in that region will make those people to start to build. And if we have applications coming from different places, that's a win-win for everybody.
Okay, thank you, Robert. And we receive Adam. Hello, Adam. You have a question?
Yeah, I have a question. Hello, guys. First of all,
Hello.
question for Robert. How hard it is to put the foundation to put, I don't know, $1 million in an xPortal wallet and just showcase it. I mean, it's the easiest method to marketing the xPortal and the security of the wallet, and it's been a question that circled around on Twitter in the communities. EGLD Heist had initiatives, but let's say unfortunately the funds that were gathered inside were not so appealing. But if you plan to do something like this at xDay and you manage to attract new Asian communities, because right now, honestly, I don't know how big it's the Asian community on MultiversX, and the same as the guys said, it's very important to attract new people, especially from Asia, where they are very involved in the crypto market. And a move like this, I think, will highlight the security of xPortal and Guardians and everything that comes with it.
And to add about this, maybe it will attract North Korean hackers because they are trying to steal DeFi crypto funds in the United States. The FBI announced yesterday. Yeah, Robert?
I don't think it's hard to do it, but doing it at an event, it's I don't know how big of an impact you have in case of an event, or whether you do the same thing on the public, let's say on Twitter. For every event, there was a strategy, what we showcase, what we speak about, and it was always about applications and what it's built on the MultiversX ecosystem and what can you build. So that was the focus. But I do agree that we might do something like that as let's say as a marketing stunt. It was let's say internally never agreed on a date when to do it, or on an event when to do it.
Yeah, because if we give an example, on the xPortal stands at Paris Blockchain Week and on other events I went, there was no incentive to create a wallet, for example. On other wallet suppliers, they organize games with prizes to be won, gamified events, and so on. So people are really incentivized to create a wallet and to discover this technology. So you on the xPortal,
no, they are not discovering; they are going out immediately.
Sorry?
They got the rewards and gone out.
It was not clear. I remember at the Paris Blockchain Week, I regretted that on the xPortal stand, there was like nothing claiming that, okay, open a wallet and try to win such like merch or EGLD or any other stuff. And on other stands, like
GRM, I'm sorry to tell, but in Paris at the Paris Blockchain Week, you had a massive xPortal with hunt where you could go all around Paris to find places and scan them through the wallet. So there was something.
yes,
Yeah,
but it
that was
was
a big one.
it's true, but in my opinion, it was not clear on the event, on the stand and on other wallet providers like 1inch, and I saw also for the Binance stand and so on. When you go there, you have to like draw a wheel, you have prizes, you have raffles, and so people are all going to these stands to win prizes, of course, but it's also a good example of incentivizing the visitors to discover this wallet. But like, it's open to challenge, of course. Adam, what do you think?
Yeah, this could be one of the first, but I agree with GRM here. Beside the fact that Robert is doing a great job on Crypto Tutor, this is one thing that I agree with GRM. Robert, again, from my opinion, people come where the money is. When you put a price of $1 million, let's say, more people will come and will download it. And regarding the mini games and everything else, yeah, they might download it just for the prize and then claim it and immediately uninstall it. But once you download it and you do a move with something like the Guardian, or try to move the funds from it, and they experience themselves that it's not possible, they have a different feeling. It's like when you experience it yourself, you can tell the greatest story. But until the users experience it himself, that's the point where you can convert people and maybe discover the entire ecosystem as a whole. So yeah, even if they uninstall it, they still get to experience the UI, UX, the security, everything that it has to offer.
Yeah, and you can add a task maybe to be eligible to the raffle, maybe to optimize the return on investment. But I know, Robert, that you are now the marketing guy of MultiversX. But
No, I just wanted to say that it's only about like your what is the target in case of the events, and for our case it was more about builders always. So that was the focus of the events mostly.
that's in my opinion the biggest mistake. But it's of course my opinion for years now is to be focused on builders is extremely important, but builders also need people, investors, holders, traders, speculators on the blockchain, because they will be the next users, the future users, the futures holders, the futures traders, and it's required on an ecosystem. So but I understand this builders oriented strategy, but in such event on which you have the whole Web3 community that is coming, and different profiles. You have just curious people, you have builders, you have developers, but you also have people from the community that wants to discover new ecosystem, new projects, new features, new tools. And I think they also are very important. And to attract them, I agree with Adam. And I'm happy that we agree with Adam today that, money goes where there are money, but not just money. It can be just a t-shirt or a cap or anything, and it, in my opinion, participate in the awareness and the trendiness of MultiversX. Arno?
Yeah, I agree with you guys regarding xPortal and the growth strategy. But there's one thing that we should keep in mind. And up till recently, xPortal was exclusively a MultiversX wallet, and every user in MultiversX was using xPortal. So, growing outside of MultiversX was very hard, because it is very hard. The blockchain industry is so tribal. People have their preferred chain, and they use their preferred chain. Only a few people actually jump from one chain to another, or are in various ecosystems at the same time. And so only now that xPortal is a multi-chain wallet, it's going to make sense for them to spend a more ambitious marketing budget to attract users, because actually they have now an opportunity to attract more users from outside MultiversX. So I'm looking forward to 2025 and see what xPortal growth strategy is going to be, because now they have an opportunity to capture outside the chain.
Okay, I don't know if Robert, if you want to add anything, or we can move on to the next topic.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
So I wanted to speak about sovereign chain. Of course, it's announced by the end of the year or beginning of 2025. Just if you can keep us updated about what's happening on backstage. Do you have maybe some project that applied, a new project? What's the result of the marketing campaign around the sovereign chain? And maybe you have any news to share with us about this well-weighted feature, we can call it, on MultiversX.
So sovereign chains depend most on how and who is building on top of the SDK. And right now we have Onefinity, who is actually building a lot of stuff with EVM compatibility, actually making EVM even better because they can use the space VM features. Then you have CyberNetwork, and you have Demiurgos as well, who are still building continuously, and a few other projects in the background trying out new things. Even Mihai from Soxno said that after, let's say, next year, he will try to build something on sovereign chains as well. Technologically wise, the chain goes pretty well. You can set it up in a few minutes. Right now, even in a few seconds, you can set it up in DigitalOcean with the connection directly to the testnet. The integrated bridge is the next feature to be enabled, which most of the work is done for that. End of epoch, most of the work is done for it. Only some bug fixing remained. And then we are working together with with the other builders to make sure that they use the SDK as they should, and that we offer all the support they need. So it's all about work from both directions and meetings with the teams who are building it, and then writing documentation for it. Also, we are trying out a project with the X-Money team as well on sovereign chains.
Okay, and the roadmap is still the same by the end of the year, or early 2025 for the release of the first sovereign chain.
It doesn't depend on us. It depends on the project, but I think that Onefinity have announced Q4.
Okay.
So, and we are trying to support them with everything they need to do it.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you for this.
And they have applied for the fund, for the a part of the grants as well. And then we had other grants applications as well, which, we are giving out the grants and the project open source is what they built. So in this way, we want to give back to the community more and more.
Okay. There is two last topics I would like to speak with you. One about yourself, Robert, and the last one about the future of MultiversX. About yourself, I saw that these last weeks, you decided to take some political, ideological positions, which I agree personally, but it's not the point. My question is it the role of a core developer of a blockchain to take such stances? And did you speak with the founders about the risks of such positions for the MultiversX reputation?
I don't think it's a role, it's a responsibility for every citizen of a democratic country to do it. And if I do that with an anonymous account or another account, Robert Sasu political or whatever, I think I'm not doing, I'm hiding myself or stuff like that. So if there are issues in our regions, at least what we can say it's to critic. And to critic or to say an opinion, it's a responsibility in democracy, I think. So, and I'm happy that I live in this kind of area and I'm not living in a communist country before 1989 when I couldn't do this. And this kind of things should be protected at all times. That's my point on it. Our Twitter accounts are personal. No, it's not like company controls anything. I did not have any issue from nobody from the foundation or the core team or anything said anything about it. I do believe that there is so much reluctance, especially in Europe, about political choices because, or even in US, and especially, let's say, software developers or engineers who make enough money, they are reluctant because I make enough money. Why should I bother myself and why should I get pissed off because of stupid politics? But at least the only thing at least we can do is to reply or comment on something. So I am doing the most barely minimum by doing that and going out and to vote. So.
Okay, I got it. And I would like maybe to have your takes about this, Arno or the others. What do you think about this choice? Yeah, Adam?
Yeah, so first of all, Robert, it's a person. He can have any views. From me, if I'm an investor in MultiversX, I don't care about his political views. I care about his work at MultiversX, his involvement, the fight that he's carrying in all those technical tweets that I guess 80% of the people don't understand. But you can see that it goes and takes on them. So as long as he doesn't go in a topic that is very controversial and it's something that, let's say, or post something very controversial, it doesn't affect me as an investor. I invest in something based on what that project or team is building and not on the views of each individual. So yeah, I don't care what he posts as long as that person does his let's say job at being a core developer at MultiversX. it's up to him what his personal views are.
But that's, I mean, the question is deeper than this, because you gave your answer exactly because you said, he says something that doesn't offend me. But of course, when you talk about free speech, it's something that every human being should agree on the fact that we should have free speech. But
No.
what if Robert tomorrow says all cats should be killed? Something that not everybody would agree, because all dogs should be killed. They shouldn't be allowed to live. And then instantly, it's a topic that is way more controversial. But actually, talking about free speech seems like something everybody should agree on. But the truth is, when you look at what's happening between some big companies like X, X with European Union, like the new stance that Mark Zuckerberg is having on this topic, because I think that he's changed a lot. When you look at the letter, the open letter that he revealed, I think it was last week, and you see what he reveals about the past relationships that Facebook had with the American government, and the questions that they were asked, and the collusion, and the fact that he's saying, okay, if I had to remake those decisions now, I would not agree to, and from now on we will not agree to. Those are of course, on a personal level you can just agree, but on a state company level, those are controversial opinions.
Yeah. So Joaquim, and after Adam, and after we'll go for the last question of this interview. So quickly, Joaquim, and after Adam.
Yeah, I feel like we went on a tangent on free speech, and I'm just going to go shortly on that. But Arno, yes, certain countries have free speech, but if you take your example with the cats, that would be considered illegal in quite a lot of countries, including France, because it would be incitation to violence, which is not protected under the Freedom of Speech Act in a lot of countries. So there are certain limits which don't exist in the US but exist in many other countries. But when it comes to political view, I think Adam said something that was quite interesting. He said he doesn't care, and neither do I, about what Robert Sasu thinks about politics. We look up to Robert for the technical point of view of what he has to bring. For my political standpoints, which I tend to be in quite strong disagreement with Robert and GRM, I look at them elsewhere because that's I look towards other people for that. So I do think there is kind of the expertise dilemma, which how we trust more a doctor for anything than we trust a random person. They did a test with a doctor who crosses the street on red. There's more people that follow than if it's the guy dressed casual. And indirectly, I think it uses your expertise in one field to impact others. And I think that's where it becomes an interesting topic on if that is the right thing to do.
Adam?
Yeah, so Arno, the example with the cat was a little bit extreme, and I also mentioned as long as it's not something illegal or very extreme, then yeah, it doesn't affect me. It's the same as I would invest or believe in MultiversX if Robert would vote for Trump or Harris. It doesn't matter. He can vote for whoever he wants. It doesn't impact me at all. So again, I do have, if you allow me, a personal question for Robert, and it's not a question, it's more like a feedback. When do you think that, let's start like this. I would love to see the same involvement that you have from other core team members on Twitter, fighting against all these, let's say, standards in the blockchain industry. And just wanted to ask, because the only core developer that I know on Twitter, it's other than you, it's Sebastian Marian. Is he still at MultiversX? And if you think it would be better for him to fight for MultiversX instead of a Fox project.
I will not comment on that one about Sebastian. Foxy, it's a fun project. So, but this is everybody takes it as they want, as they see it fit. Yes, he's still involved, working on fork decisions on the consensus model, and even worked on sovereign chains as well. And I don't know if there was another question. Why the others don't tweet? I don't. Tweeting is a hard thing, so you have to get into a mindset of just going out and write what's on your mind, and to be pretty sure about yourself, and do not care about all the replies and all the hate. So it's a mindset game in some sense, and then you have to enter that mindset in order to do that. That's how it works for me. I spend 30 minutes and then I try and I close it down, and I try to do my best in this regards, and I set up a routine for me to tweet 3 or 4 times minimum per day. So that's my thing. Maybe others should do that, but tweeting is personal, so it's like everybody has a choice for this.
Okay, we need to move on. Thank you very much for your questions. We have 2 questions on the comment that I would like to read. So please, make short answers if you can. I will read the first one. It's about, AML and terrorism financing regulation. So are there any steps about that matter? Because according to the person that tweeted it, Web3 will never be the foundation of global finance without answering that question. So I don't know if you are aware of what a MultiversX Foundation strategy about the AML and terrorism financing regulations. Robert?
On AML or finance, I think that we are pretty well done with the regulation side on X-Money and xPortal application for your cards, and how you can send out tokens from the blockchain ecosystem to other ways. Other than that, no, you don't have AML at the blockchain level, and I don't think that it should be, because it goes against the, let's say, the principle of free to transact and free to own.
Yeah, because we need to remind that the AML and anti-terrorism obligations are rather vague for blockchains. At worst, it's more about validators to comply, to validate or not a transaction when it involves blacklist wallets and so forth. As we can see on Ethereum blockchain, of which 50% of the transactions are blocked to comply with the AML and terrorism obligations. So I'm not sure it's about the blockchain itself to do it. And the second question is, when or how are we onboarding big investment firms to MultiversX? And it's interesting because in an interview in a French media, Benjamin announced that MultiversX would be raising funds. Do you have any news about this? As it's so important to have cash to compete in the layer one competition.
I cannot say anything about this. I think that you know about. You knew this answer.
Yeah, I knew, but I had to ask the question. And last question on the comment, I would like to know what are the current MultiversX team priorities right now, and it will lead to the last question of this interview about the next steps for MultiversX, about the vision. Of course, I don't want you to spoil what will be announced at xDay 2024 in Korea, but still, what can you tell us about the next month? Not next years. Let's focus on next month. I mean, maybe by the end of 2025, because it will be the next bull run. If we trust the analyst, can you tell us about the next priorities and the next move of MultiversX to grow?
So, in terms of the foundation of the core protocol, we are mostly working on the consensus improvement and to get sub-second finality. And that sub-second finality and everything to go into the sovereign chains as well. That's one of the things. And we are completely on focus with that. Other than that, we are improving, as always, the developer experience with more documentation, with more features, with more tools, both for smart contract writing, microservices, contents, and sovereign chains as well. So this is a rather technical one. Then we will go and look and help around all the interesting startups who will come to the chain to build. So those are the things which we will get heavily focused in, and I think that Arno said early on that DeFi is still should be super important for, and it's a killer feature of blockchain. Then I think that there will be DeFi can be improved to be used and by the young players as well, and a lot of users. So that would be interesting to do, or to have to do, meaning that to have builders build those things.
Thank you very much, Robert, for your time and for this long interview. Thank you for answering almost all questions. Thank you very much for this. So what can we wish to you for the back to school time?
No idea. More ideas.
Okay. Your ideas are good. Execution is better. But yeah, let's start by ideas if you want. Arno, maybe you want to add anything before we close this interview?
To be honest, I don't have. I think it was a brilliant interview because GRM, you had many questions on different topics. I can only imagine it's not always easy because the MultiversX ecosystem is always growing. Of course, it's never growing fast enough, but it is growing. And so, for a person like you, Robert, you know a lot, but you don't know all. So answering all questions, in an expert manner is not super easy, but, this is on us. We need to get other people from the MultiversX Foundation on this podcast so we can have them ask them the tough questions about how they grow and plan to grow in the future. So, no, it's always a pleasure. Thank you for coming here. I think the community really enjoys you coming every time. So Keep it up, and all the best for the months to come, Robert.
Thanks for everything, and thanks for having me.
Yeah, and definitely I think we should give you another role in MultiversX. Poor developer is no longer enough. You're so much more in terms of content, explanation, and taking positions about things. So congrats, and keep it up. You know that we really support you on GM Web3, even though sometimes we don't agree, even though sometimes we can critique some decisions. The one thing is sure, we appreciate a lot you're willing to come and to answer questions, even the toughest. Thank you very much, Robert. You can stay with us, of course, for the end of the Twitter space. And if you can't, we will wish you to have a very, very good day, and see you soon on GM Web3 MultiversX.
Thank you. I am critiquing you as well. So that's a back and forth thing. And I just hate that everybody who, or not
That's
hate,
right.
but sometimes people, especially right now on Twitter, if you say something, even technical, they say it's fudding. No, it's not fudding. It's just a critique. Come on, if I'm critiquing Ethereum, not fudding it. So it's like...
We agree on that.
Or other attitudes. So you can critique, why not? And we got a lot of critics from community, and then we have improved. If there are no critics, there is no improvement.
Totally agree. Thank you very much again, Robert.